Hello, everyone. Welcome to my show. This is the Angelic Show, and I am your host, Angelique Everett. This is my second episode of my YouTube channel. I've got the opportunity to sit and chat with my good friend, Alex Jusko. He is an advocate, psychic, at least I hope I'm saying that right, spiritual coach, and life coach. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, you know how to have you on my show now, especially with my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You've been helping me out, so.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it.
You're welcome. So, tell me about yourself.
Well, I am someone who enjoys just helping people reach their highest potential. And in this regard, it means helping people with their spiritual issues and allowing them to realize who they really are and what they really want to become in themselves.
Oh, that's very enlightened, empowering.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about your business?
So oftentimes people come to me and they'll ask for psychic readings, or if if they have a block somewhere in their life, whether it's with if they're having a block with writing or any kind of career issue or something like that, or a relationship issue, they come to me and say, I'm having this issue. And I say, okay, let's discuss this. And through the process of what I do, I use my intuition in order to help facilitate what they need, what they're looking for. So that might come in the form of questions. It might come in the form of giving intuitive advice. It might come in the form of providing some kind of meditation or spiritual work that they may need to do. It all facilitates the person's growth and love of themselves and love of the world that they're in and their life. So, yeah.
That's very interesting and enlightened.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I love what you do.
Thank you.
So, because this is the second part of that question. So, what do you do?
So oftentimes many people will come to me and they'll usually either say, I'm just looking for a psychic reading, or I'm having trouble with a relationship, or I'm having trouble with my finances, my job. What does spirit have to say about that? And so what I'll do is I'll go into my space, into my heart center, and ask spirit about this person's issue. And what will happen then is I will get images and feelings based on that person's problem that they're presenting with. And I will get back in return images and feelings about that person's issue. And I will then tell the person about what I'm perceiving. And usually it comes out to be in the form of a message of some kind, which helps the person in regards to their question or their questions, depending upon what it is.
Well, in the middle of all of that you had said, is it getting you said all of that? Because now I'm sparking another question that's not even on here. So.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead. So how do you get these images?
Well, that's an interesting question, mostly because a lot of people think that what I do, the things that I see are out in the world, and the images I'm seeing are out here. The truth of the matter is, everything I'm seeing is inside me. Everything I'm seeing is inspired inside me. There are images and feelings that come through me, and by virtue of just paying attention to my own awareness, I give myself the ability to perceive and receive the guidance of what a psychic really does, is just being receptive to the feelings and emotions and the awareness of that person's energy. Because the truth of the matter is, everybody already has the answers they need in order to move on with their life. but sometimes it just takes a little bit of someone else, in the case me, to allow them to see the answers for themselves. So to answer your question long and short, the how I receive the information I do is the person already has the answer. It's just a matter of pulling it out of the energy and then receiving it and giving it back to them. So
Oh, okay.
so
That's
imagine
no.
imagine you have all the answers you already need in your life. The problem is you don't think you do. That's the
Mm-hmm.
problem. So by virtue of what I do is I say, okay, let me sit with your energy. And so by virtue of sitting down with you and talking to you, I can actually take what your energy is giving me and tell you exactly what I'm feeling from you, which gives me the ability to give you insights about the situation you're already in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I might just have to I might just have to get up on your offer about that. So
Mhm.
I might do another reading with you
For sure. Absolutely.
because I'm actually kind of going to do some like a wolf patch and negativity in
Yeah.
my life at the moment. So
Yeah, I would also
yeah.
like to say in that regard too. So there are a couple rules that I follow, and I like to tell people about these rules because it makes them more comfortable. Number one, the first rule that I have is that everything we discuss in readings with my clients is completely confidential. So clients are welcome to share as much as they want to share, and nothing leaves my lips per se, but they're always welcome to share with other people if they want to. Second, I don't tell people when they're going to die. A lot of people, I feel they get very scared about psychics
Mhm.
because they're afraid that they're going to come across a psychic and the psychic's going to go, you're going to die in 7 days and and I don't do that. Um, I have heard of psychics that have done that to people, and people get really scared and really frightened because what if that psychic's right? What if that person does end up dying in 7 days and yada yada yada, and it just creates a whole lot of fear that doesn't need to happen. Uh, Third, I'm not a doctor, lawyer, mental health professional. Um, I say that because for liability purposes, some people come to psychics and they think they are the end all be all of answers for everything. And while I would love to be, I am not responsible for your free will. If you decide to do something dangerous, that's on you. However, I do there are moments when medical things do come up in readings that I advise people about, but I have to remind them that, look, I'm not a doctor, but this is just what's coming through. This is the message that's coming through. Um, Lastly, I'm not a mind reader. So a lot of people like to think that, psychics pull questions out of people's heads. And we don't. At least I don't. I don't hear a voice in my head that's telling me, Angelique wants to know this. Angelique wants to know that. If you present me with a question, I'll be able to answer it, but I'm not going to sit there and tell you, oh, this is what you're thinking, and this is the answer to that question. Because by virtue of you asking the question, you're empowering yourself, which is what spirit, in my opinion, wants people to do. Spirit wants people to empower themselves, which means asking the question, taking the steps in their lives to improve their lives, and loving each other and loving themselves. That's really what spirit wants. So there's all that.
There's a lot to assume. All right, I'm telling you, it's the word.
Those are the rules that I follow.
Yeah,
So
that,
and
that's
those make
fine.
me and those make people really comfortable because when that usually when I say all that, a lot of people tend to relax because they're not so on edge because then they realize like this whole relationship that I'm building with this person, even though they are a psychic, there is this sense of I can relax now because I'm not fearful anymore. I'm okay. I'm safe. So, and I like that because I don't want to develop relationships based in fear. I want people to grow and know that they're safe and that we're building a relationship together in a safe and positive way. So, yeah,
I agree with you about that. Because
yeah,
everybody always go to psychics about everything technically. Yeah,
Yeah,
I see it on TV. Talking about my psychic telling me I'm not the baby's fire and stuff like that.
yeah.
No, 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 no.
Yeah. No, there are things there are specific ways by which I do things that avoid those particular issues because you can get into a lot of trouble if you say something like that and you end up hurting someone else because of it. So I try to be very ethical with how I do readings in that way. So
So that's good to know. Okay, I'll
yeah.
keep that in mind.
Mm.
So, why did you pick to be a psychic as your career choice?
I chose to be a psychic because I felt it was the highest aspiration that I could choose for myself. It is the most beautiful thing to facilitate a relationship with spirit. And when I say the word spirit, that also to me includes God. So for those of you out there who are religious, spirit is also synonymous with the word God for me. So I use the word spirit because it seems more universal. However, I facilitate a relationship with spirit, and by virtue of that growing of that relationship, I'm able to help people, and I feel that is, for me, is the highest calling that I can ever do. So yeah, that's why I chose to be a psychic. I want to help people by virtue of that relationship with spirit that I have.
That's good. And since you said spirit and God, your
Mhm.
higher being, I would say, because
Mhm.
I am a religious person, not that
Yeah,
religious, and I do believe in God. So
yeah, yeah.
I pray to Him about everything.
I will also say, and I forgot if this is one of your questions or not, but I will also say that everybody is capable of doing what I do. This isn't a mysterious ability that just happens to me. This is something that everybody's capable of doing. It's just that psychic ability is kind of like a muscle. If you don't use it, it gets weaker. If you do use it, it gets stronger and stronger over time. But it's the more you use it, the stronger you get.
And I
So
don't think that's one of my questions.
I just wanted to throw that
Okay,
in there. Yeah.
that's all right. That's totally all right with me.
Hmm.
Um, since I do have another question, kind of go along with that. So
Hmm.
I'm just gonna say, why why use tarot cards in your readings?
So some people actually just really like tarot cards. That to long and short of that is that some people really love the material aspect of readings. They love holding on to something, whether it's an image or a feeling or something like that. And tarot cards are a really good way to embody that. Actually, for the sake of this interview, I actually have a deck here that I'll pull out and show you some. Um, so uh, I just actually recently got this deck.
Oh,
It's
okay.
an angel deck of sorts,
Ooh.
but it's cool because what tarot cards can do is they provide the means by which somebody can understand their life better. So in this case,
Ooh.
um, these are different angels of sorts, but every card has a meaning of sorts and all that. However, the way that um, I read tarot completely intuitively. So when a card comes up, the energy of that card, there is a message there. However, the message is correlated to uh, a portion of that person's life. So if somebody is having a relationship issue and we draw cards about it, those cards are going to be about the relationship issue. Um, and so the cards will tell me different things about the relationship issue, but also my intuition will be incorporated into that in order to create a whole message so that the person could walk away with something of use out of the the session itself.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yes. You kind of made me doubt about something when you had said that. So,
Sure. Ask away if you want. Yeah, for sure.
but I would definitely bring that up and like one of the readings or whatever. I won't
Okay.
mention that in the interview. So,
Okay.
uh, what are your services?
So I do a variety of things. So psychic readings, tarot readings, energy healing, past life regression, past life healing. Um, let's see, what else do I do? Some mediumship, depending upon the situation. I leave that open to spirit. So what I tell people in regard to that is that I don't go to the other side and retrieve people like other spirits, but if they do come through for the person, then we talk about that. So I that's the way I operate. And I also do some channeling too, but I usually just do that for myself. I prefer to leave the channeling just to myself privately. Um, yeah. To answer other questions that you may not have thought of, but I just want to address. A lot of people ask me like, if you're a psychic, why don't you just go out and win the lottery or something all the time? I get a lot of people ask me, well, why don't you know the lottery numbers? Because spirit doesn't give me the lottery numbers. If I wanted to know, if spirit wanted me to know the lottery numbers, I would know them and just win the lottery. But the reason why is because a lot of people, think about you have to think about the consequences of the action itself. If I win the lottery, what happens to my life then? What happens to the situation in general? Because if I win the lottery, then I have no real reason to help people, because I become sort of disenfranchised by virtue of not being able to be relatable to other people. If I become a multimillionaire, a lot of people can't relate to a multimillionaire because that's a whole different lifestyle. Whereas for me, staying on track with people and where they are is really important, because it keeps me humble and it keeps me in line with spirit, versus being a multimillionaire and being kind of distracted by all the material aspects of things. Not to say I don't want to be. I definitely would love to be a multimillionaire. Absolutely. I think anybody would. However, there are consequences to becoming a multimillionaire as well that I don't think people think about. So, yeah.
Because I would love to be a multimillionaire, all right. But it doesn't work that way. So
yeah. Hey, if you put your mind to it, it can happen. That's part of what I teach. So
and speaking, since you said that, that's part of what I teach when me and Shania was together. We always say you can do whatever you want to do.
Absolutely.
Put your mind to it. So.
Absolutely. So if you want to become a multimillionaire, put your mind to it and do it.
You know it.
Yep.
Now, here we go. Where can people go to schedule readings?
So you can go to my website. It's alexjusko.com. That's ALEXJUSKO.com. And there you can schedule with me. You can also reach out to me via email or call my number, and we can schedule at any time. Anytime I'm available. I have a pretty busy schedule at the moment. Angelic, you know this very well.
Yes, I do.
But I'm always happy to make time for people, and always happy to provide them with my services and provide them with guidance and love and support, for sure.
Yeah, you are a busy man, all right. Mm-hmm. And how much are your readings?
So my readings have a range. So for first time people, if they're kind of skeptical about readings, they're not sure if they want to do it, I have a $40 minimum fee that I offer for clients, and that $40 is for 30 minutes. So for half an hour, they can get a reading. And then if you want a longer session, I also offer those. I also offer a $55 reading session for 45 minutes and an hour-long session for $70 an hour. And in that, we discuss different aspects you want to discuss about. We talk about, blocks in your life, that kind of thing, how to address those blocks, different things you can do in order to overcome those blocks, and as well as get some intuitive and spiritual advice that you may be looking for.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah.
How can you help people connect and give insights to their lives?
Well, I do that already as for, my job. That's kind of what I
Yes.
do. Um, and I love that. But anytime I'm working with any client that I'm working with, that is the job, providing insights,
Mhm.
providing guidance. Even doing this interview, by virtue of being known and getting out there, I'm able to help more people, which is what I'm desiring to do. I want to help as many people as possible in the best way that I know how, which is doing this. So I love that. I have been on a couple different blog talk radio shows. I've done those in the past.
Ooh.
I used to do that quite a bit. That kind of dropped off, and now I'm just kind of uh, people know me by word of mouth for the most part for right now. And actually, Angelique, if I may be honest with you, if you're really looking to get out there, word of
Yeah.
mouth is the best way to do that. You know, where people love to talk about their experiences with other people. So if you're looking to be successful, my best advice for you in that regard is to have people start talking about you, because the one thing people can't kill is an idea. So let the immortal idea of Angelique get out there, because it'll spread like wildfire if you let it. So
Everybody be bragging about me. I'm gonna let like Jim, for example, he be like bragging about me. He was like,
mhm,
we were just talking about it. Me and Jim, we were just talking about it, you know.
that's
And
awesome.
I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like looking at him like, he was like, it's a good thing. I'm
Yeah,
like, oh, okay.
yeah, yeah. We talk. Yeah, your name is well known, and my name is well known, and I love the fact that we're well known as we are, and that's beautiful. You know, and getting the word out there even further is just a matter of time. That's really what it is.
So even like you, when me and him be talking, oh yeah, me and Andrew was just talking a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yep, yep.
Mhm.
It's beautiful.
Okay. So, how did you become a spiritual coach and life coach?
So I got my certification through the Life Purpose Institute. That was over through the period of COVID. I was looking for a way to expand my skill set beyond psychic reading. So I decided I still want to help people, but I want to help people in a different way. So I decided to embark on this journey through the Life Purpose Institute to become a spiritual life coach. And so through that process of learning different skills and different meditations and different ways of which to actively listen and to paraphrase and things like that, I was able to understand that I can help people just beyond the intuitive aspect, just by being there and being present for people. Am I able to help people and be a guide for them when they need it, or be someone they can turn to if they need it?
No, this question you ain't answered already, so we
Mm,
don't need to ask this question.
okay,
um, but I'm just gonna ask it anyways.
okay.
Do you have to be certified to be a coach, or do you have to go to classes?
So it depends on where you are. So in New York State, you don't need to be certified to consider yourself a life coach. However, in some states, you do. You are required to have a certification or some kind of licensure in order to be a life coach. That's why I got the certification to begin with, because I didn't want to just say that I'm a life coach. I wanted some kind of accreditation to back it up. Because even in our part of the world, it seems like people are looking for, okay, what is the hard proof behind what this person is saying versus just what they're saying. So yeah,
I agree about that because
yeah,
I know a couple of years ago I got actually certified to be on a committee meeting
yeah.
now. So now I'm on like multiple committee meetings now with people like, so it's like, okay,
That's cool.
yeah. So now I want to be certified to be a trainer now. I want to do
Yeah,
a couple of training classes to become a trainer.
very cool. Love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I said, well, I got the time, so why
Yeah,
not?
Yeah.
How can you help teach people to be more energetic with what kind of healing techniques?
So a lot of the energy aspects of people's lives actually comes from within. So a majority of the time, what we're doing as human beings, we tend to cut ourselves off. We say, "Oh, I can't do this because of this reason, and I can't do that because of that reason, and I can't, I can't get that job because the credentials are, there's too many credentials that I don't have, yada yada yada." So what I do, as both psychic and as a life coach, and I say, okay, so you don't have the credentials you need, but what kind of plan can we build together in order to help you get the credentials you need in order to get that job or to get to where you want to go? And so what I do is we build a plan together, a life plan together, in order to help them reach the goals they're looking to reach and allow them the ability to realize that they're a lot stronger than what they think they are. And that's where a lot of the energy exercises come in, a lot of the meditations, a lot of that. It comes from a place of understanding that you are a much stronger being than what you realize, which is true for everybody. Everybody's much stronger than they realize. So
Yeah, I agree about that. But I know some people, some people have confidence in themselves, some people don't.
yeah,
So,
and part of that journey maybe is developing that confidence in themselves and developing that inner voice that says you can do it versus you can't. There's, if I may say so, there's a really good story out there. I believe it's a Native American story, but I'm not sure which tribe it comes from. But there's a story of a grandfather and his son and his grandson, and the grandfather shares the story with the grandson of there are two wolves inside you. One is black and one is white, and they're always fighting with each other. And the little boy goes, "Well, Grandpa, which wolf wins in the end?" And he says, "Whichever one you feed the most."
oh, okay.
So it just goes to show you you can feed the light part of yourself that gives you strength and confidence, or you can feed the dark part of yourself that tears you down and rips you up. But it's whichever one you feed that is the stronger of the two. So feed the white wolf and you'll gain a lot more confidence and strength. Feed the dark wolf and you'll end up more fearful and in doubt. So does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yes. I just gotta figure out which part of me is the white wolf and which part is the dark wolf.
Well, then in that regard, let me just say, which part brings you the most happiness and which part brings you the most fear and sadness, and that's how you know the difference.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep that in mind. Where can we find? Where can we find you?
So aside from the website that I mentioned earlier, my website, alexjusko.com, you can also find me on Facebook as Alex Jusko, spiritual life coach and psychic, I believe is the page officially. You can also, I believe you can find me at AJ Spiritual Coach on Facebook. Let me double check that to be sure, but I believe that is the case. Yeah, so it's really great. I love sharing stuff on Facebook, especially the things that I'm doing. I've been sharing a lot as far as my work at the Rust Belt Books right now. That's been wonderful. Spending time there, doing readings there, making a lot of clients very happy with the readings I'm doing, which is really great.
How is it going down in Baltimore?
It's wonderful. I love it. I love that area. I love the bookstore. I love the people that are coming in and the journeys that they're sharing, and the fact that I get to be a part of it is just really, really beautiful. So, yeah, absolutely.
You know how to ask that question since we were
Oh, yeah,
talking about it. So,
absolutely, absolutely. But yeah,
and the other question to that, you already answered already for
mhm.
me. So,
Awesome. Yeah. So just to clarify, yes, it's Alex Jusko colon spiritual coach and psychic on Facebook. You can find me there. So
Okay. Well, you're basically everywhere because I see you on Instagram as well too.
yep,
So
yep. I'm on Instagram as well.
I follow you on Instagram.
Yep,
So
yep. So
I am your host, Angelique. And this has been another episode of the Angelique Everett Show. Thanks, Alex,
you're welcome. It's been
for
a
coming
pleasure.
out of your busy schedule for me to interview you.
For
Now,
sure.
I know you wanted to say, I know you were saying something in the part of that. So go ahead, Alex.
Oh, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for having me. You're wonderful. Um, I wish you the best on your journey. I know it's going to be great. I have no concerns in that regard. Just keep doing what you're doing because it's beautiful.
Thank you. Now,
Really.
don't forget to use the Angelique Everett Show to like me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram now at the underscore Angelique E _show. Now also go to my YouTube channel to subscribe. I would love that. It's the Angelique E Show, or you can go to my website, angeliqueshow.com. I'm Angelique, and I'm rocking it.